Hey traders, Raghee here, and in this update we're going to take a step back and take a look at where we are in the context of a pretty fresh bullish directional bias. Now, what do I mean by directional bias? I mean that when I am looking for the path of least resistance, I do believe it's still to be to the upside. That changed on Tuesday of the last week, and that changed when price action got above the rolling 10-day volume weighted average price and the volume weighted average price that we anchor to the first of the month. Now, we bounced off the mean of the V-score. Now, what is the V-score? The V-score is a measurement of the volume weighted average price in terms of standard deviation, +1, +2, -1, -2. How many standard deviations has the volume weighted average price deviated from the mean? And you'll notice that we bounced off the mean and very close to the mean when the market does pull back. Right now, we're actually trading a little closer to the upper end. In other words, where does this bungee jump, although it might feel that way sometimes, but when does this bungee cord get stretched too far? The bungee cord gets stretched too far when we get to a +2 standard deviation. In fact, just above a +2, about a 204. You can see that peak right there. So we're closer to resistance. We're closer to a standard deviation far enough away where we could expect the snapback. Where would the snapback take us? I would say initially to just below the +1 or about a 0.73. One thing to keep in mind when it comes to standard deviations is they're not always these nice, neat, well-packaged whole numbers. They can be 0.7, 0.62, and the V-score, measuring the standard deviations to that granular a level, will give you a much more specific reading. Now, for those of you that are wondering where is the best resilience, I will continue to look to the markets that I was in before the election, IYT, YM or DIA, XLY, XLU. So for those of you who are thinking, all right, where is the path of least resistance? Where is the best bullishness out there? That's where you want to focus. Dow, more specifically, transports, utilities, industrials. So Dow could be YM or DIA, transports is the IYT, industrials XLI, and the utilities XLU. So keep an eye on that. The thing that's going to be challenging to the SPY, to the ES, is going to be as the vaccine optimism makes its way into the market, the stocks that benefited the most from work from home were tech stocks. And those tech stocks, as you can see, have been absolutely trounced in the last couple of sessions. And that means the S&P, because it is so very related to the NAS in terms of weighting, is going to struggle. It's on one hand going to move with the Dow, and it's on the other hand going to move with the NAS. The S&P is not the captain of its own ship. It's influenced mostly by the NASDAQ and the Dow, and it gets caught in this tug of war between the two. For now, I would focus more on the extreme of the Dow and those markets that I mentioned before. Leave the S&P alone, get more granular. Find out if the XLF or the XLV have better clarity. On the NQ, again, get more granular. If you're looking for strength in the NQ, look to specific names within the XLC, the XLK, and the XLY. Because right now, broadly, the NQ is still going to be Donkey Konged, okay? That's a technical term. So be very, very cautious. And by the way, all the broader indices are yellow market trends. What does that mean? Yellow meaning chop, yellow meaning sideways. And even without the vaccine news and even without the volatility of the election, these markets were sideways, which means in chop, you want to get granular anyways, all right? So this is really a conversation about watch list building. This is really a conversation about where specifically to put your attention. And it's not the broader averages. It's even in some cases not the broader sectors. It's the individual stocks that have been resilient within them. Think about that as you're building your watch list and as you're trading either end of day or intraday, and I'll see you in the next update.